Saturday, October 6th, one of the most anticipated fights in UFC history.
Conor's busting Nate up.
Lightweight champion Khabib Nurmagomedov is undefeated, 26-0. He has dominated all of his professional fights.
Khabib right now is teeing off on Michael Johnson.
You have to give up. You know this, Edson.
But Khabib has never faced an Irishman named Conor McGregor.
Oh, big shot from McGregor.
I'm gonna pick him apart and bully him in there and absolutely maul him.
The first fighter to hold 2 UFC belts at the same time, including the one now held by Khabib.
You bring that belt up on stage like it's a real belt. You're a phony.
On October 6th, McGregor makes his long-awaited return to the Octagon.
Oh, he's done. He's done.
It is all over.
Also on the card for UFC 229, Felice Herrig versus Michelle Waterson in the strawweight division. I'm Scott Patrick. I've got a preview of this mega fight night. You're watching the UFC on Dish. Khabib versus McGregor, this should be the biggest fight in the UFC this year. The champion versus the legend on Saturday, October 6th. And you can watch it live from the comfort of your TV room with Dish pay-per-view. Pre-order the fight right now on channels 473 and 474. Order it online at mydish.com/UFC or just give us a call at 1-877-347-4778. That's 1-877-DISH-PPV. Conor McGregor, one of the biggest careers ever in the UFC, making headlines inside and outside the Octagon. Khabib has a perfect record, winning the lightweight belt earlier this year after the UFC stripped McGregor of that belt. I talked to UFC President Dana White about this huge fight.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for coming. Just to remind you, UFC 229, Khabib versus McGregor is sold out, but it is live on pay-per-view. Who has the first question?
First question for Conor. What was the process to get you back in the Octagon, and why was it this particular fight?
I came back for the love of this, to come and shoot this man up. A little rat, a little weasel.
Khabib, do you have any response to what Conor just said?
This is everything what I expect.
Dana, great to have you on Dish as always.
Good to be here, thank you.
How was your day?
I had a day and a half today. It was, but good. A little dark. It was one of the darkest press conferences I've ever been a part of, you know. Conor McGregor is the absolute master of mental warfare. I think he's better than Muhammad Ali. I think he's better than anybody who's ever done it. Any opponent that he goes up against, he does his homework. He studies little things about their life and, you know, whatever it might be, and he attacks.
I'm come here for smash this guy.
Smash me, mate! Smash me! Smash me! You say send location. Here he is, right here in front of you. Did you not see me at the outside the bus now? Do something about it. Do something about it. Yeah, you'll do nothing.
What's it like being the only person between two fighters? We see that at weigh-ins with you, and today we definitely saw it. What was going through your mind today when you knew this could go horribly wrong very quickly?
Yeah, my job is to make sure that these guys obviously do not touch each other or show any other type of disrespect. When Conor was bringing the whiskey over to give it to him, I thought he was going to throw it on him.
I don't drink.
Why don't you drink?
I don't drink.
Why don't you drink?
I never drink.
I'll tell you some buzz at parties.
I never drink.
You're mad backwards. You're dead when I get my hands on you, do you hear me?
I never drink. I never drink.
I'm very aware of everything that's going on. I'm always looking behind me.
Right.
I'm like the real nervous guy in the middle.
Yeah, you have good peripheral vision, obviously.
I tried.
Your head was this way, but I could tell you were still following it that way. But thankfully, nothing happened here.
Exactly.
Wait a second. Do I smell something? Have you been drinking?
Yeah, I actually, I had a sip of that whiskey, and it's damn good. I gotta admit, it is very good whiskey, and I'm not a whiskey guy.
Very good. Proper 12 it is. He had a few sips too, but not that he needed anything to get into his, say, character or his state of mind today. He was ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
Conor, a question for you. Fill in the blank. Conor
I'll
McGregor.
drink his.
Conor McGregor is going to blank Khabib when you guys meet each other.
Stomp on his head as he's unconscious.
Let's go back to what's called the bus incident now. And what were your thoughts when you first learned that that was happening?
Obviously, first of all, I would say I was shocked and I was blown away. And then I was angry. Mm-hmm. You know, nothing like that had ever happened before. So, you know, there were a couple of people that were hurt during the incident. So, not our finest hour.
Sure. But yet it's in the publicity now, and it deserves to be from your vantage point. Tell us why.
Yeah, I mean, when two guys are going to fight each other and they have this much animosity, for new people coming in that aren't hardcore fans, why? Why do these guys hate each other so bad? What happened that got us here? You have to tell the whole story. You can't just tell half the story because you think it's bad PR-wise or, you know, it doesn't look good on the sport. It is what it is. It happened. It was in the news. It was everywhere. And it's part of the storyline.
Sure. To that point, the reason we can have this fight is he pled guilty to something, and part of that was, I think, community service and then anger management of all things.
Yeah.
He obviously hasn't started his anger management courses.
Right. Yeah. You know, Conor is not a bad guy. Conor, you know, is a professional athlete. He's a fighter, and Khabib had actually assaulted one of his very good friends who's Russian, which started this whole thing. Right. You know, it was not at all the right thing to do for Conor McGregor. He's a huge superstar in the sport, in all of sports, and but I'd have to say he's a pretty good friend.
Right here, mate. I'm right here,
pal. We're gonna fight. We're gonna fight 6 October.
Daddy. I hope so. I hope so, because if you pull out like you always do pull out, may God have mercy on your soul and trust me on that. You little pull out merchant.
Sit down.
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
Okay.
I don't want to talk, mate. I want to fight. I want to fight.
6 October. 6 October, we're gonna see.
Let's talk about Khabib. There's a reason he's 26-0, and the reason he's right now the favorite in this fight.
Right. So Khabib is one of these guys, if he gets you down and gets on top of you, you're in big trouble. He 26 other people, and nobody has ever got up from underneath that. He gets you down and he finishes you. Conor McGregor has power in both hands, has unbelievable kicks to the body and head, and he will be trying to knock Khabib out, and believes that he has no chin, and once he hits it, he'll put him away. This fight is fascinating. This fight is two absolute killers in their prime, the type of fight that should be happening when it should be happening.
Sure, and that's a point there, because a lot of people say, well, Conor's been out of the Octagon for 2 years. It's not like he's been sitting around like today drinking proper 12.
Exactly. And Conor's a very smart fighter.
Yeah.
His fight IQ is brilliant. You better believe he's ready. He's been getting ready for a while. He's trained in what he believes Khabib's weaknesses are, and he will be ready fight night. So don't make any mistakes. The guy's been out for 2 years, but when he left, he was a 2-belt world champion, never lost the belt, and this is a fun fight.
He brought those belts today, or something that resembled them, right?
Those were them. Those were his belts. He brought them with him because he feels that he's never lost either one of those belts. They were never taken from him in a fight. They were taken from him for not fighting.
You bring that belt up on stage like it's a real belt. You're a phony, and I'm going to expose you. You're with the real dogs now, brother, yeah? And you're going to be smoked.
If we can talk a little bit about the other fights that night, you got other great fights on including Ferguson versus Pettis, which is a terrific contest in the main.
Absolutely. You know, again, 255-pounders fighting, and you know, all these fights that are happening, the whole top 10 is going to shake out over the next couple of months, and then we'll see who wins, and we'll see what's next.
As we wrap up here, if you could talk to the Dish customer why they need to buy this fight.
Listen, if you're a fight fan or not a fight fan, this is one of those spillover, water cooler talk fights that you have two of the absolute best in the world squaring off in their prime when the fight should happen, And the cherry on top is they hate each other. When people tune in for a fight, they're looking for the best to fight the best, to see who's going to become the champion, and the energy and the buzz that surrounds a fight like this is like nothing else in the world. If you are a Dish Network subscriber, order that pay-per-view right now.
Could we get an official prediction on the fight?
Domination, his head bouncing off the canvas. All his pony talk is going to be put on blast October 6th.
I don't know what this guy talking about. I don't understand what they're gonna do 6 October. When cage closed, we're gonna watch.
Saturday, October 6th, the world is watching, and so should you, from the comfort of your TV room with Dish pay-per-view. Pre-order the fight right now on channels 473 and 474. Order it online at mydish.com/UFC, or just give us a call at 1-877-347-4778. That's 1-877-DISH-PPV. Also on the card that night, Michelle Waterson versus Felice Herrig. Waterson looking to continue her winning streak after bouncing back from 2 consecutive losses. I recently sat down with the karate hottie.
The karate hottie, Michelle Waterson.
Michelle, it's great to have you on Dish.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for doing this. So I think your bio says full-time mom and MMA fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Which job is harder day to day?
For sure being a mother. For sure.
Tell me about that.
There's just, there's a lot of pressure on you as a parent to raise a decent human being.
Yeah, timeouts are different outside of the octagon. There's a timeout, you can put somebody in timeout there, and that's the end of the fight, but yeah. The
rules are a bit more black and white in fighting.
Yes, that's right.
Everything's really gray in the parenting.
That's right, very good. Let's see, on Fox 29, Courtney Casey, the split decision. What in your favor? Tell us about that and what's led you to today in your next fight.
My fight against Courtney was really great. It was a really important fight. Prior to fighting Courtney, I was coming off a 2-fight loss streak, and that had never happened in my career. So just getting over that hump was a very hard mental challenge.
Sure.
So to pull off the victory against a bigger, stronger opponent was great for me. Momentum-wise, great for moving up the ranks, and just mentally, it gave me a boost to know that I am still growing and evolving, and I belong here in the UFC in the top 10.
And you still have it, right? Exactly. All right. So in a dream world, who would you like to fight next?
I'd like to fight either Carla Esparza, Carolina. I can't say her last name.
I think she can, but nobody else can.
Okay.
And you're going to be in broadcasting, you got to learn how to say her name.
Kovalchuk.
That was pretty good. I'm going to say yes. That was perfect. Right. So you'd like to a shot at her as well?
I would. I think it would be a great fight. She has a great style, and I think it would be a good fight for the fans, and also be a good fight to catapult me up the ranks so that I am closer to fighting for the belt.
Sure, absolutely. And I mentioned broadcasting. You've done some work now. What has that been like? And are the butterflies different when you're doing broadcasting work than the Octagon, but they're similar but also very different?
It is very similar because you're doing something outside of your comfort zone. But that's what I love to do, right? Step outside of your comfort zone, face your fears. What is so nerve-wracking about it is that it's so new to me. And so I'm still practicing, I'm still getting better at fighting. It's almost second nature. I've been doing martial arts for over 20 years.
Sure. Well, you have a lot of great things in your future here, and it's great to watch you on all levels. So we'll watch you broadcast, watch you back in the Octagon, and good luck with being a mother, too.
Thank you.
That's always a challenge.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
It. Watterson versus Herrig, and the main event of the year in the UFC, Khabib versus Conor. Don't just read about it online. There is no substitute for watching these fights live. UFC 229, Saturday, October 6th, live on Dish pay-per-view. I'm Scott Patrick, and this is the UFC on Dish.
It is the hottest ticket in UFC history.
Khabib, the Eagle! His grappling, his striking, everything he does is world class. 26-0.
The Notorious Conor
world will be watching.
The hype behind this contest is insane. I cannot wait to see it. The most epic fight in the history of the UFC.